5:30 p.m. So I'd like to call us to order, and we're going to start off by having a word of prayer by Commissioner Peak, and then we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Commissioner Holland. In that order.
I would ask, Lord, I would ask that you would help us to function tonight, not as individuals with our own motives, but as a team that would work towards a common goal. Help us to act in love towards each other and give each other mutual respect and grace. Lead our thoughts, temper our words, and forgive our shortcomings as we come together to accomplish this work before you. In your name we pray.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, I'd like to yield to Magistrate Gay. I'm very thrilled to have a magistrate here. Magistrate Gay, would you lead the pledge today?
I would.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second that. No, you got to come up front, wait.
Oh, man. Yeah. We'll get off that easy. All the way up here? Come on, Grandpa.
Oh, forward, well, he I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. You want to give him? We have a little token for you. Did you call him Commissioner? You said magistrate? Okay, she said magistrate, okay. You did, okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Magistrate Gay. As we proceed with the meeting, before we proceed with the meeting, I'd like to read a statement to those in attendance this afternoon and a statement to all those who might be watching via social media as well. So as the mayor of the city of Danville, Kentucky, and on behalf of the entire Board of Commissioners, I would like to open with acknowledging the public interest in a police-involved incident from October of 2024 at our local Danville Walmart. We recognize that many folks are alarmed by the situation, and they want to better understand what happened and why. We, the commission and the staff, hear your concerns. This incident is complicated, and it's full of understanding. And a full understanding goes beyond sound bites and short video snippets. We are seeking an independent external review of the October event, alongside the internal review underway by Danville Police senior staff. The Danville Police Department consists of both highly trained and certified officers. We, the commission, and I have confidence in and rely on that training. These two separate reviews will help us better understand the full context of this incident. Our number one goal, as always, as city leaders and as a police agency, is to ensure a safe environment for all of our citizens. That means protecting people from harm, whether that's from their environment, from other people, or even from harming themselves. We are thankful that in this case, everyone made it home safely, including the public at large, the employees at our local Walmart facility, the officers involved, and most importantly, Mr. Hardwick. At this time, our Chief of Police would like to address us with some comments. Chief Gray.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. To the citizens of Danville County, as your Chief of Police, I am committed to an open and transparent professional working relationship in the community in which I live and serve. I, along with the officers of our police department, support the internal and external reviews, and we will work to preserve and enhance the community's trust placed in the Danville Police Department. Our regular training and certifications reinforce the appropriate tools and tactics to protect our citizens. We recognize we serve at the consent of our citizenry. We are committed to a professional interactions with all. I ask for your patience and trust as we move forward with this process.
Thank you, Chief. So as far as additional legal issues, we cannot address those further in this forum. We trust those issues will be resolved during the legal process. Therefore, we ask for your understanding and that we simply cannot comment or speculate further at this time. During this meeting, we have a Hear the Public session number 2, and if you desire or plan to speak to us about this issue or any other issue not on the agenda tonight, we would ask that you go outside the doors and please sign in by giving us your information. We're going to let the city clerk call off names of those who've signed up to speak to us during the Hear the Public session number 2. There will be a first Hear the Public where you can speak to us tonight only about items that are on the agenda, but Hear the Public number 2 is about items that are not on the agenda. So please, if you desire to speak to us tonight, sign up on the sheet. Thank you. Getting back to our agenda, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, I'd like to seek a motion to approve the agenda as amended. We're going to eliminate item number 2, the Danville Small Town Christmas Recap, and item number 8, Resolution 2025-01-2701, a grant application. Those 2 presentations will not be with us this afternoon. So is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, ladies. All right. Any other questions or comments about that? Hearing none, all those in favor to approve the agenda, say aye.
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 Those opposed, likewise, we've approved an amended agenda. So at this point, we'd like to have our first session of Hear the Public, and if you're present tonight and you desire to speak to us about items that are on our published agenda, now is the time to raise your hand, be recognized, come to the podium, and we'll give you 2 minutes or less to speak to us tonight about items that are on our agenda. Hearing and seeing none, I want to say thanks again. Next item on the agenda is we're going to recognize 3 citizens who were recognized M.L. King Day with the Spirit of M.L. King Awards. Sister Melinda Weathers is present to present that to us again. Thank you, ma'am, for your attendance.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to share with this commission and to the Danville community. We had the privilege to honor 3 in our Danville Bull County community and give them the award titled the Spirit of Martin Luther King Award. And so this is our first year doing it. Look forward to continue this tradition with more input and nominations from the community. For the first year, it was just a small group who just toyed with some ideas of folks in our community. So the categories are around a community person, a center faculty or staff person, and also a center student. The center student cannot be here, but I do want to name her. She is actually studying abroad for center term. Her name is Casey Montgomery, and she is an amazing student. She's the president of our Student Government Association, and I look forward to connecting her with the City Commission moving forward. But the other 2 recipients are here, and so in the person of Mrs. Gloria Glow Lewis, and then also my dear brother, Clay Taylor. And so both of them, they're here. If you would like for them to come up front, we could.
Yes, ma'am.
So we know who they are. I'll just briefly read what their award says. It says this award is presented to the individuals that they embody the principles and values championed by Dr. King, which include justice, equity, equality, service, and compassion. Their work exemplified Dr. King's vision of a beloved community. So thanks to both of you for carrying out his legacy. Clay works in our admissions department. He's an amazing colleague. He's been at the college for quite a while, since 2018, and I personally have worked with him for several years now. But Clay has travels, he stays on the road, recruiting students and specifically underrepresented students, and he forms an amazing bond with them. And to get students from out of state to come to Danville, Kentucky is a feat that Clay is able to achieve every single time. I mean, I think if you know Miss Glow Lewis, she needs no introduction, but she is an amazing woman. I've known her all of my life, but she's a staple in the Danville community, certainly as a now as a bus or a crossing guard for many years. But you can just go sit on her porch and you have a good time. And as the weather breaks, I can't wait to go back on Main Street on Thursdays because that's the hangout spot. And so honor both of them and thank them so much for their commitment to the Danville County community.
Congratulations to both of you all again. And it was the first time I witnessed Sister Lewis with a loss for words. She came across that stage and she kept saying, they're going to ask me to talk, or ask me to speak, or whatever. But congratulations again. Let's continue then. The next item on our agenda is a solid waste management update. Sister Muncie is here to do that for us. Sister
Good evening,
Angie.
everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for allowing me to come by and speak, and I'm gonna stick to my notes so I don't wander everywhere tonight. So, as you may be aware, the issue of contamination of the city of Danville's curbside recycling has reached a very critical point. Unfortunately, the contamination levels have become so severe that the material is being rejected by the recycling center. Instead of being diverted, it's going to the landfill, diverted to the landfill. It's not only unsustainable, but it also undermines the efforts and intentions of our community to promote responsible waste management.
Yes, ma'am.
As the solid waste director, I feel it's not only my duty, but my obligation to address the issue to find a meaningful solution. Together with my recycle man driver here, Geneva Hogue, I'm sure most of you know her, our dedicated team of employees, we work hard every day to ensure their recycling center operates successfully and efficiently. Currently in Danville, we serve 72 businesses, 3 factories, and 60 hand pickups in the city of Danville. The total does not include what's served in Junction or Perryville. Additionally, and this is on a daily, weekly basis. I mean, this is something we do every day. Additionally, our convenience centers takes everything we take. To put in perspective, I'm going to give you some numbers. The center processes over 1,000 tons of cardboard annually, along with the plastics 1 and 2, steel, aluminum. However, we do not take glass currently. It contaminates our recycling. We're a single stream. Looking ahead, I do intend to allow residents to bring glass to our center, but it will never, ever, as long as we're in this, be accepted in curbside. It can't. It contaminates, it ruins the process. If we send anything to, say, our cardboard, the shards of glass get in there, we tear up the equipment, there we have it. It's a contamination thing. So it's not like eventually I'd like to take it, but it's going to be one of them things, it's going to have to come to us. In the future, I'm hoping to take styrofoam, which will be another big thing out of our landfill, and packing material, things like that. In the near future, hopefully the grants go well and we continue with that. But what I'm here, I'm going to come up with an approach, hopefully, that maybe this will work. Enhance public education. We have to educate.
Yes, ma'am.
Improve enforcement, encourage accountability for what we're doing. And definitely, we need to work together. City, county, we have to work together. I'm here tonight to ask for your support in addressing these challenges. I've come up with a couple of things. I don't know where you sent the pictures. I don't know, did Josh, I copied some of them, just so, I'll let you all have them. Pass them down.
Thank you.
This is what's coming in.
Oh,
good grief.
We don't want to see that.
You know, it's all being, you know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat, it's all been diverted to the landfill. We just can't.
You're being tactful, so. keep
Yeah,
on
it
going.
would just,
That's
it's
right.
just, well, it's just honesty.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we have to work together to fix it. It can be, it's fixable. You know, when I came in, it was hardly doing anything, and Geneva and my workers, I mean, my operators at the convenience centers, you know, we made them work at the recycling center, so they've learned what they have to go through. So we only have about 5 to 10% trash rate. If we can get that, if we can get down to 20, we'll be doing good. I'm also, one more thing, and then questions. I have developed a letter here that I think would be good, but it's totally your discretion. I'd like to have something that be put in the water trash bill, maybe update the citizens. It's what we take, what we do not take. So I made a copy for everybody, including you, and Ashley.
Thanks.
See what you think about it. I mean, it's not nothing that, you know, that's really that hard or anything, but that's my spill.
Thank you.
I try to do it in a nutshell, so, you know.
Well,
it's-
You've been very tactful. She said
Jamie,
the
you'll
word,
be proud.
you said no glass, but you also need to say the word that I'm going to say, and that is no garbage in the recycling
Well,
bin.
that as well,
You didn't
but
wanna
I
say
have
it,
a
but-
lot of feedback. I've had a lot of, not just garbage, but I have people that's, some of the public is demanding that they put their glass in there. And they're very upset with me. But, you know, it's okay. That's what I do. But it's a contamination issue.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, that we don't want, and we will take it. But it's going to come to the point that you're going to have to bring it to us for us to take it because of that issue. Because we do have to sort it, and it's hazardous to people, you know, working in it, you know. People needs to stop to think, before they put all that stuff in the recycling can, would they want to touch it? Would they want to process it?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what, if there was any one particular thing you had an issue with. Nope. Only thing I didn't see was a dead body.
Well, you know, we've had dead deer head.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'd rather come with good news that, you know, this is going, but it's just gonna take a, you know, just a good good effort to work together. And, you know, Josh and I have worked together a little bit. Earl and I has talked, you know, that, you know, things we can do. Maybe eventually, I want to start educating first, and then we can maybe step it up with enforcement later, but I think it just takes some education right now.
Agreed.
But I need, you know, the city's support to do so, because it is your city.
Yeah. Well, somehow you got Commissioner Siri and I to come take a tour, and
I think you had a resident that was
Yes.
very upset.
she's Kent's sister Lewis over there, the one who called me out, told me to come out there. But anyway, it was just really, it's gotten really, really out of control.
Yes, it
If
has.
we're gonna recycle, we gotta recycle the proper items. And so I appreciate your tactfulness, but it was, well, the working environment, the day I was there, was reminding me of my days working at the dump. And you were not dealing with garbage, you were dealing with recyclable materials, supposedly. So that's how bad it's gotten, folks, and it's not good.
You know, and a lot of mentality is, let's just get rid of it. We don't have to see it anymore. You
Yeah,
know,
that's-
it's, you know, it's not a mindful thing.
Yeah.
And it's got to become that, because we want to take it. We don't want to go to landfill. You know, everybody's under the impression we're taking it, and we can't. As you can see, we can't.
Yeah. Well, and to the citizens in our community who are doing it the right way, it's really not fair to them There are some
No,
folks who
it's
do
not,
it.
because you have
Yeah.
some dedicated
Yes, ma'am, we do.
people out there.
Yes, yeah.
Jamie, you wanna?
Thank you, Angie, and I just want to, first of all, acknowledge what a outstanding solid waste director we have in Angie Muncy. She does an amazing job, and under her leadership, we're soon expanding our solid waste recycling capabilities in a bigger building that's underway and coming soon. And there are a lot of more exciting things that we will be able to do in the area of recycling in particular. I happened to be on the commission when we initially started curbside recycling. So this is a kind of full cycle issue for me, now serving on Angie's committee. And you did hear that right, I'm on Angie's committee. On the fiscal court side. And I do, like we just stated, strongly believe that the citizens in our community and communities countywide want to do the right thing and keep materials out of the landfills. And so in order to do that, there is going to have to be a re-education process, especially what it means to be single stream. And I was talking to Angie today on the phone on my way back from North Carolina, and Ricky is punching me saying, I've been telling you, you can't put that in the can. So I'll be the first to admit the education process starts with me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And making sure that we're all doing the right thing and putting the right materials in the can, in the recyclable can. And the big one that gets a lot of talk right now is glass. And she mentioned how it not only contaminates the product, it contaminates and damages the equipment, but it's also very dangerous to our employees
That's right.
that are out there working. Because again, you can only imagine, you get shards of glass coming in that's being sorted. It's not a good situation. So we just can't emphasize that enough. That needs to happen, as well as just keeping the general garbage out of the recycling process. So it does come down to all the things that Angie laid out, and that's education, and then working together also on the enforcement side of this. She also has our friends from Republic here.
Yep.
Hello,
Todd
Mayor,
Pryor, I'm
Commission.
sure everybody knows
Good to see
Todd.
everybody again. You know, we want to be a part of this, be a partner with you guys on the education piece, and we're more than willing to help out with that as much as we can. We don't want the material in the landfill. You know, we want as much life as possible in that landfill. It's close to you guys, and, you know, it is a group effort between the three of us, city, county, and Republic.
I think there's been some complacency. I mean, you know, we've been
Oh,
at
yeah.
it so long, and
Yeah.
then people have just gotten out of the good habits that they used to have when we started, and sort of just, they'll figure it out. So
Well, and a lot of
just
things,
don't
you
wanna-
know, it's just like paper. People don't realize that once that paper is wet, and once there's something on it, you must just throw it in the trash. It's no good to us. You know, it's just a lot of education. And if you don't mind, if you don't know Geneva, I want to introduce my recycling manager. I mean, she's the one that does, her and my workers do the most. They're the boots on the ground, you know. If it wasn't for them, you know, I wouldn't be, there wasn't, you know, use of me standing here, so. Geneva, you want to address anybody? Well, yeah, I'm gonna call her out.
Oh, gee.
Well, I do know we have had businesses and they have not done right, you know. And then also, you can't just blame it all on them, because you have people, if they see a bin there or whatever, they're just gonna throw everything in it. So we have had to put locks on some of them. And then I've had businesses, I'd give them so many chances, and I'd say, okay, we're done, we're not picking it up until you clean it up. So they get it cleaned up and they call me. So there is, you know, just pull it and say, that's it. And I think the people that really want to recycle will do right, you know. So we've worked hard to clean up the recycle center, and we get comments on how clean it is, you know. So it hurts me when I see all that trash come in there, and I'm like, done all this work, and look, this is what we get. No. So,
She's my
yeah,
henchwoman.
so I appreciate, everybody working together and trying to clean it up.
Magistrate Gay, you can tell us what year it started, right? If you can't, Commissioner Crowley could tell us, 2010 or 11 or something?
Right.
Pretty,
Yeah, it's been, we've been in it over 10 years, I know
Yeah.
for sure, closing in on 15. And I think it's been well received. It was some kicking and screaming
oh, yeah.
when we first put it in place. But I think the majority of people really want to do, as I said, want to do the right thing and keep as much product as they can out of our landfills.
And it also cleaned up our community. 'Cause we got all the black plastic bags off the side of the road and the white plastic bags off the side of the road. People was putting garbage in anything and everything. So it really cleaned up
Yeah,
our
recycling's
community.
basically a habit. It's a
Yes.
habit at home too, once it's just a matter of doing it.
And you're not here to complain and tell us
Not
about
at all.
just the
Not-
businesses, but you're also here to complain and tell us
no,
about the
I
everyday citizens. This is a
I
citizen
just
thing,
want
yeah.
to,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
to support me and me support you, and let's
Yes.
get everybody
Yeah.
educated and let's recycle. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Do you think that, every now and then you could kind of, I wouldn't want to come see us either, but, you think you could come back once a quarter or something? Just give us a
Absolutely. I'll
report
come back
card
once a
and,
month and do a report.
y'all still
And I
stink.
think
Can you do
I
that?
think for next 6 months, we really need to do that, we need to do a lot of
Yeah.
output. And I hope the letter suits you, maybe, you can talk to your department and see if that's something that you may want to put in. So that puts it with everybody at least, that gets a water trash bill. And, we'll go with the radio, the news ads, and social media, of course, always works
I was looking back
sometimes.
at Ms. Crossfield. It's already been on our website and our Facebook page, haven't it? This type of information. She said
Yes.
yes?
Yeah, we've updated recently, I believe. Josh has put some stuff out there. Basically, the same thing that's on that letter
Yes.
is actually on your website as well, so.
Okay.
It's just putting some new things out there, some changes in the recycling. So, we just can't, you hear it, it's not going to Lexington. Well, I'm not Louisville and Lexington. We don't have that multi-million-dollar facility, so. But we do pretty good.
Well,
On
you're
that, I
doing
would
a great
like to
job.
I would like to add that it does benefit us all by being able to keep the product in our community and allow Angie to market it
Yes.
and get the best value for that product as she can and keep the dollars in our community as well. So, and help support the program by keeping that money through the.
Everything we got in the
Reselling
recycling center has been grant money. So, we have, million-dollar equipment up there, through grants the past 6 years. It's upgraded everything, and I continue that every year. Hopefully, the state will keep giving it to me, the more I beg, so.
Okay. Thank you all.
I have a
That's all
question.
I have. Unless
Thank you.
anybody
I
have
was
any
wondering-
questions?
Go into the schools to do
I
anything?
do when requested.
Okay, because I know when my kids were growing up, she would go to schools
Yes.
and the children
When
would come home and
requested,
say,
I do
"Don't
go."
their way."
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
think that would, maybe that could help. I don't know.
Yeah.
I work with Edna Tolliver quite a bit with their after-school program. We've done a few programs, so. When requested, yes, I do go.
Okay, so people can just call and
You
request?
Just call.
Okay.
Commissioner Holland has a question.
Yeah, do you feel that people are using the recycle bins just as a regular trash can?
I do.
Do you
In
think it's
some cases.
because there's a fee for a second can now? And
Well,
they
to be
also
honest-
look similar?
They look similar, and Todd and I have discussed that. I think there's only 30% is what the accountant give me that pays for an extra can. So out of 7,500, you're only talking about 2,100 people that actually pays for that second trash can. You got some areas that do better than others, of course. And then you have some of the people that they're only going to have that one can and they're going to get rid of it one way or the other. So yes, that could be.
But everybody in the community is entitled to 2 cans, one recycling and one trash, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you're talking about an extra
But
And I
the
would say-
additional cans, $4.52 a
a
month.
month, right? Okay.
I would say a lot of them start off with recycling at the bottom, and then when they fill up the trash, they go into the
Okay.
recycle.
Okay. So when enforcement happens, can you identify who does that and take away their recycle can?
It's been talked about.
Okay.
It's been discussed.
As in
We've
like-
discussed many different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking
Just-
it
but
away.
But it takes, it's your contract,
Yeah.
not the county's.
Yeah.
So it's your I'm code enforcement for the county, but not, I don't want to come in, this is what I do and this is what needs to happen, is my obligation. But it's also your all's pleasure of how far we go with it.
Yeah.
I'd go pretty far because if it's going to the landfill,
And that's where it's going.
yeah, that's a problem. So,
Every day, that's where it's going to,
Defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
it does.
okay.
Well, please continue to come back
I will.
as things get better, or if they don't get better, please come back, because it's
Well, we're
important.
going to work on
let the-
educating, and I'm going to be
Yes,
pushing
yes.
Josh and Earl's buttons just a little bit.
Good, good,
But I think we can do some education, and I think it'll.
good.
I have a question as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, is there a way to assure that everybody has 2 cans?
They pay a bill.
Okay. I'm wondering,
Is that correct?
I only have one.
You only have one.
Yeah, so my wife fills her
Somebody's
kitchen
doing
up
it.
and we take recycling ourselves.
Did you get your can pulled, Rick?
Pardon me?
Did you get your can pulled?
No. So I just wonder if how many other people
Well,
may,
now, if.
they may
it's
not have that
picked up-
option, so they don't think
So
about
you
it.
only have one trash and not a recycle, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just have 1 can, period. Yeah.
Earl,
If
can you email
there's
me your
a-
address?
We can also, if you have for the citizens, if you're missing a can, the water department can provide, and the city hall can provide the number to connect you to get that additional can provided when you don't have it. I don't have that number offhand, but we can provide that number, and we do so on a regular basis, but we will
Great.
get Rick taken care of.
Well, this is more for everybody else, so the message is call the water department if you only have 1 can and we'll get it fixed.
Call Republic.
Hey, them
Yeah.
girls do, they get a whole lot of phone calls.
Yeah. Okay, well, again, thank you all.
Yes,
Let's
thank you.
move along
Good
then.
seeing you.
We have a few things to cover tonight. Good update. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones? Did you come to the microphone? In the public comment section, I would give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the community.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. I did not know I was going to be speaking today, but I am Dr. Anthony Jones, the Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion at Center College. I started here in July, so I've been here several months. My family and I live on Mildred and should be moving into Junction sometime soon. So it's been a great experience. My time here had a lot of opportunity to meet some of the folks in the community. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to meet more and to get involved in the community as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
I've been trying to get that done, but welcome to Danville again, right?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And he's also the father of a, 2-month, 3-month?
Yes, I have a newborn, 2-month-old, 3-month-old now, and a 2-year-old daughter. And I'm here with my wife. Which is why I'm heading out now.
Thank you, sir. Next on our agenda is an EDA update by Mr. Crowley.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. I'd like Commissioner Gay, I could use some re-education as well on the recycling. I want to say we started that in 2007,
Something like that.
give or
Yeah.
take.
Wow.
And at that time, we took basically everything, but that's changed. And so, yeah, education is a big deal. We had a lot of education component back when we started that. So, anyway, I'm here to talk to you about the EDA, Economic Development Authority. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds worth of history. The EDA, the Economic Development Authority, was jointly formed by the Danville City Commission and the Boyle County Fiscal Court. Officially, October 1st of 2022 was the publication date for the joint ordinance. It was formed, KRS 65.210, et cetera, authorizes interlocal agreements, which means we can work with our neighbors in the county to form an item like this. KRS 154.50-301 is the local Industrial Development Authority Authorization Act, something like that. At any rate, the Danville City Commission and the Boyle County Fiscal Court got together and formed the Local Economic Development Authority. Its purpose, and I'm going to paraphrase this, is really just to acquire and develop property for job growth and economic growth in the community, Boyle County and Danville community. Since that formation date, things progressed slowly. I took over as the chair in June of 2023. Prior to that, the EDA had applied for what's called the Kentucky Product Development Initiative Round 1 funding for a project to purchase property from the Norfolk and Southern Railroad on the bypass. And so we got that, ramped that project back up and got it back on track. And we did complete the purchase of that property, 79 acres, on June 28th of 2024. The city and county matched the grant amount. They split the match 50-50. So each, we got about $744,000. The city and county matched that 50-50. So we completed the purchase. We still have work to do on that project. We need to build a road from Stewart's Lane to connect to that property, and that's in process. So just a little heads up, we will be asking for some additional funding to complete that road. Now, the good news is we've got $260,000 to $290,000 to begin that project. As soon as the city's audit is completely approved by the state, they'll release some reimbursement matching funds in that amount. So we do have some of that money to get started. Plus, we've already purchased a significant amount of major materials for that roadway. So while I can't tell you exactly what the price tag is going to be, Josh and I are working on that. That is in process. Also in 2024, in accordance with our purpose, we suggested to the city and county that we acquire an additional piece of property, which has been termed the Reading property, also on the bypass, contiguous to or adjacent to the industrial park, past Danville. Yes, ma'am. Can't hear me? Well, that's unusual. All right, I'll step a little closer. The 201 acres on the bypass, the city and county agreed to make that purchase. And so the EDA entered into negotiations and managed to close that property purchase at the end of 2024. So that piece of property, 201 acres, 115 of that is zoned industrial, approximately 40 and 40 are zoned one part residential and another 40 commercial / agricultural. There is a 15-acre pond on that property as well. So to our purpose, the EDA on behalf of the city and county has now acquired 280 acres of property and added that to the inventory in the county. The rest of the inventory is basically the Boyle County Industrial Foundation, the existing industrial park. So for clarity, the Industrial Foundation is a private foundation that owns land, that has developed property for industrial purposes over the years. The EDA is a public entity, so we provide the opportunity for the city and county to jointly fund with public money the acquisition of property so that we can continue to have an abundance of property available for the recruiting efforts of what is the EDC, the Economic Development Corporation, which I'm a board member. So Going forward, we've got to complete a road project beginning in the spring. We will be back to you to talk about that, and you'll see that. We also have the task ahead of us now to put together somewhat of a strategic plan for the development of that property. And that's going to branch all the way from Perryville Road around to the industrial park to kind of lay out what that's going to look like down the road so that we can properly locate other roadways and market that property and develop the transportation and other infrastructure in a way that is efficient for the county and the city. Again, I would anticipate we'll be asking for some funding for the roadway come spring. That's kind of an update. I want to come in and give you guys updates rather than having you ask me to come in and give an update. So we've been busy, and thankfully, we've been successful in adding to the inventory of property we have in Danville, Boyle County. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer those.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Well, I'm glad to hear about a strategic plan for the area. Great idea, and we'll fully support that, so.
Well, everybody can probably think of a spot where planning was not done in advance. And we don't want to have that take place here. Our Planning and Zoning Commission does a great job. And so, we've got guidelines, but we've also got to take a look at the individual properties and how that's going to interact with the existing roadways and infrastructure to make sure we do this job right.
Right.
Other questions?
I just appreciate you continuing to work in the community and step up and do hard work.
It's a lot of fun.
For what you get paid.
Yeah. Getting a raise next year, right?
All right, thank you,
all
sir.
very much.
Thanks, Terry.
Next item, commissioners, is to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the January 13th, 2025 meeting. Wow. Is there a motion to approve our minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments, additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item is proclamation in honor of Black History Month. Commissioner Peak has been drafted to read that for us. She volunteered.
Okay. Whereas the month of February has been designated as Black History Month, and whereas February has been set aside for all of us to learn about and appreciate the history and contributions of African Americans and their tremendous effect on America and its ways of life, and whereas the 2025 theme Black History Month is African Americans and Labor, focusing on the various and profound ways that working of all kinds intersect with the collective experiences of Black people. And whereas the work Black people do and have done have been instrumental in shaping lives, cultures, and histories of Black people and the societies in which they live. And whereas understanding Black labor and its impact in all these multivariate settings is integral to understanding Black people and their histories, lives, and cultures. And whereas the theme African Americans and Labor is intended to encourage broad reflections on intersections between Black people's work and their workplaces in all iterations and key moments. And whereas studying African Americans' labor and labor struggles are important for new interpretations and reinterpretations of the Black past, present, and future. Now therefore, Mayor J.H. Atkins and the Board of Commissioners of the City of Danville do hereby proclaim the month of February as Black History Month on this 27th day of January, and urge all citizens to join in recognizing the importance of Black History Month and the contributions of African Americans not only in our city, but also our county, state, and nation.
Thank you, ma'am.
I move that we approve that proclamation into the record.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next item is a Parks and Rec agreement discussion. Mr. Martin is going to lead that brief discussion for us. Oh, he's bringing a whole team up with him. One of them old break.
Not her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commission. I am here to talk about the joint participation agreement, but I thought we'd update you on a few goings and comings of the Parks Committee. As you know or may not know, Mark Morgan has served his term and is rolling off the board or off the committee as of the last meeting. I believe he's been a Parks and Rec supporter and advocate since he's been here. According to our notes, he started in 2020 on the commission? This particular one, there was one before that. He served as our president, or as our board chair since 2022, and he was very instrumental in the joint participation agreement. And I would personally like to thank him for his hospitality and his guidance on my transition to Danville. So with that, I'm going to let Mark say a few words before we get going.
Thank you, Tommy. I want to first thank this commission and the fiscal court for doing a joint appointment that placed me on the Parks and Rec Committee. It's been an honor, and two of the greatest honors has been, first has been the process by which we got to participate in selection and hiring of a new Parks and Rec director. And I don't think that anyone in this room or in our community would disagree with me that Tommy Barton has been an excellent choice and has rejuvenated and redirected Parks and Rec in great direction. The second item that I'm most proud of is that we've been able to function and bring attention to functioning under the joint memorandum of agreement that you, as a city commission, and the magistrates of the fiscal court and the county judge exec created when, after you all for years sought collaboration in an effective and respectful manner. And we've tried to honor that by operating under that joint MOA. While I've been chair of the committee, then I've been fortunate to have Sarah Berry be the vice chair. And at our last meeting in the middle of January, our committee chose Sarah to succeed me as chair. If you don't know Sarah, I think everyone does, but if you don't, you will and should. I have every confidence, 100% confidence, that she will bring some fresh ideas and some fresh direction and do so in a professional and meaningful and effective manner. I can't be prouder to have her succeed my service, and I appreciate the opportunity to introduce Sarah Berry.
I didn't know I would have to say anything, but I have big shoes to fill with Mark leaving, and I'm just really excited about the staff at Parks and Rec. I'm excited about some things we've got going on in the future, so it's good to be here.
Have you?
We don't know you as Sarah Berry. We know you as Sarah Albright, right?
Okay,
If I
with
said
that, we are going to talk about the joint participation agreement a little bit.
Okay.
A little backstory, this was created in 2020. You should have it in your packets along with our budget and actuals since that term, from 2020. According to this agreement, any changes that need to be made to it are supposed to be made particularly 6 months prior to it going into effect. It goes into effect July 1st. So at one point, you will have to sign the agreement and the county will have to sign it. We've been speaking and meeting with Judge Exec Trill about a couple of changes we'd like to put in it, which I'm going to go over with you today. I've worked on this with Josh and Lee, and if you have any questions on it, that's fine. But the reason the changes we put on it, mainly due to the exorbitant rise in goods and services, which we've all been affected over the last 5 years, and staffing, we felt the joint agreement should reflect the 50-50 nature of the initial agreement of operations. In the current agreement, it just has a fixed number that it's asking the county for, which was created in 2020, and that would be on page 3 of that agreement. The original just says, the county shall pay for the services rendered under this agreement, cost, in the amount of $322,000 annually, adjusted annually in the amount equal to the published cost of living adjustment. So that's only with a little percentage of, maybe at the most a 6% increase. The way we would like to word it now is in a true 50-50 nature, which states, the amount the court shall pay for the services shall be equal to half the net cost of the annual itemized budget developed by the city specifically for the operations of Millennium Park, the Bunny Davis Center, and the pool. And because those are the 3 departments of Parks and Rec that the county would agree to help fund.
Jointly owned.
Yeah. So basically, it changes that to, if you look at our budget sheet, it changes their number pretty drastically. So what we did is me and Josh went through and did our budget for the upcoming year and presented that to Trilly. And the budget came to, it's on the last page, right, Lee, I think? Budget came to $1,104,350. So the county proportion would be $552,175.
And
So-
that nets the cost of the department against its revenue
Yeah.
that's generated by those programs that are jointly funded.
Right. So it's
The
basically
more
our
they
budget
bring in.
minus our revenue, split in half, city and county. The one thing the city wanted to make sure we added is on page 4. We kind of took out a lot of language that, again, stated specific dollar amounts, because those will be changing on a yearly basis. It's kind of in the event of closures or adding something new. The services provided at the jointly funded facilities are adjusted, resulting in any significant change to the cost of the service. The city will propose an amended budget for the current year to the county. So in layman's terms, that if we come up in July and say, we're not opening the pool this year, we'll send a new budget saying, taking out the pool money, things like that. So does that all make sense to y'all? And is there anything you'd like to ask on it?
That's
I will-
great, sounded great to me.
Yeah. I will be presenting this to the county tomorrow morning. Like I said, they've been in talks with it on it. I've asked them, if they want to answer questions or go through the budget with us. I will do that. And I said, we don't need your vote on this right now, or your John Hancock signed on it. I asked them in February if they can get to us prior to our budget finalizing stages, that we would know where the direction's headed. Does that sound good?
Oh, it sounds great. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, I'd like to start. I'd like to thank Mark for his conscientious and dedicated leadership. Done a good job. I come to most of the meetings and things are well organized and we're moving forward. And congratulations to Sarah. I know you're going to fill the shoes, even though you said that would be tough to fill, you'll do it. So,
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions?
Okay, you'll go tomorrow, and then you will just come back to us later and let us know.
Correct.
Because, I
can't
mean,
see
I
how
guess-
that meeting, I can let you
Right,
know.
because that's a big jump, and I hope
is a
that
big
I
jump.
hope that they agree to that, but.
They
with
didn't
all-
throw us out the door or
Right,
anything.
that's good, so,
They did not.
that's a good thing.
It was very cordial, and I would say that they agreed that, yes, that the initial terms of the agreement was a 50-50, so, and it should be reflected as that. I know that you were looking for some, I know Rick was looking for some remarks on our site visits. I can do a little bit on that, I don't want to take too much of your time.
We need to have we probably need to have a meeting just to talk about.
Yeah.
Parks and
But
Rec
we
in the
are
future.
still initially in them. We have some we are, the 4th and 5th this month, we are going to North Carolina, South Carolina to look at some of the actual retractable roof pools. They were the closest ones we could find. So we're looking at a new one, and we're looking at one that's 10 years old to see if it's, how it works after 10 years. We have gone to 6 facilities in Kentucky. We've gone to 3 in Western Kentucky and 3 here. The difference of those, uniquely on those 3, is the 3 in Western Kentucky were built since 2020. The ones in Georgetown, Versailles, Shelbyville were built in 2000. And I see a really big difference in the way things were built back then, and, recreation's changed a lot since then. So there was a lot of differences in those that I can go into details now, or I can come back in the next couple of weeks and go over that after we've gone to our next ones, and do a full site visit. Is that what you prefer?
I think we prefer focus just on Parks and Rec at that time.
Okay, that's what we'll do. So, all right, that's all I have for you guys.
Thank you,
But I
Mark.
want to say thanks
Thank you.
for pushing that needle forward
Yeah.
when it comes to Parks and Rec. And say congratulations to your new chairperson. So, sounds good to me.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Little Albright, man. Okay, let's move right along. Next item on the agenda is, I took out number 8, number 9. First reading of ordinance 2044, Stone Land LCC annexation. Mr. Coffey.
Thank you, Mayor Commissioners. We've provided you the documents that we provided last time first that we will talk from. Of course, you have the consent to the annexation request for 390 acres, as well as the graphic. We want to reaffirm what the land in question is, and that is about 390 acres on the south side of 2168. It lies all total inside of the city already. It exists as an island inside of the existing corporate limits. The owner has requested that it be annexed. The property does have water service on both the Lexington Avenue end and also the Shakertown Road end on the west, as well as Century Sewer Service down Spears Creek watershed and in the city's lagoon on the property that you can see in the map. The ordinance is the first reading, and now what we will do is if you all move forward and start the process with the ordinance, we will send out the notifications, and of course, we still have to do a survey and some things like that. So once we know this is the path we're on, then we won't bring the second reading until those other legal requirements are done. And there's some timeframes on that the city attorney has pointed out, and so we'll adhere to those timeframes, and I hope that makes sense. But we wanted to bring the first reading in front of you to affirm this is the direction we wanted to go. And Ashley, you may want to read that this time.
This is the first reading of ordinance number 2044, an ordinance of the city of Danville, Kentucky, proposing to annex the unincorporated territory lying adjacent to and contiguous with the present city boundaries located on Kentucky Highway 2168 between Lexington Road and 3rd Street or Kentucky 33, which property is owned by Stone Land LLC, consisting in the whole of 386 acres, more or less, and being more accurately described below.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the first reading of ordinance 2044.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cottle?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Mayor Atkins?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Holland?
Yes.
Commissioner Saris?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Mayor, I would just remind you that there were some recent changes to annexation laws in their last session of the General Assembly, one of which requires notice to the county of the city's intention to annex in a consensual manner, which is what is before you today. So I've prepared that official notice after the successful first reading, so I would just ask that you sign it today prior to your departure so that we can have it land with the county tomorrow and start that notification clock, which means it won't be effective until approximately March 15th, but we would like to start that today so we can proceed with some efficiency. Thank you.
I assume that was a part of the motion that was made and we just voted on? Okay.
That's just a point of information. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item, first reading of ordinance 2045, commission meeting time and date. City Commissioner
Thank you, Mayor Commissioners. Before we get into the ordinance, there are some blanks in the ordinance that we're going to ask that you fill in. We, after hearing your conversation at the last meeting, we, as staff, discussed it, and we are presenting you with what we believe are really your two best options based on the entirety of the conversations that we heard, not necessarily one. And so saying that, these are options that we created based on those conversations. So if you want a different option, feel free to tell us that for sure. What we traditionally have are the second and fourth Mondays of each month at 5:30 p.m., which has been the standard for some time. What, if we challenge that and try to create another scenario, we would only suggest that you take the first meeting of the month, the second Monday, and move that to a different time earlier in the day. If you want to create some variance in your meeting schedules, we would suggest 1 p.m. We would not go earlier than that, strictly because the morning can accommodate preparation sometimes for the meeting. But the 1 p.m. start really provides for extended hours at the meeting. And so what you would want to do is steer for that meeting, those items of business that require a deeper look by you all that aren't necessarily public facing. So for example, the Water Commission that we just talked about at length, that would be one of those meetings where you would want that to be discussed at 1. We would bring that out, and you could do a deeper dive in that without the feeling of it's getting late and that we're occupying everybody's time by doing that. Then certainly issues that warrant so for example, on tonight's agenda, the solid waste management update, that should have been at the second meeting of the month. So we would schedule things like that for the later meetings where we're really wanting to communicate with the public, and we want to make sure they have an opportunity to hear that. And so I hope that makes sense. I would do it not necessarily for staff, although I know staff feels the weight of some long days too, and that's perfectly fine. But more importantly, we want to make sure that you all feel comfortable as you're doing reviews of subjects that are complicated, that you have enough time without the feeling of it's getting late and worrying about, are we getting done by 9:30 or 10 or 8:30 or whatever time. If you start at 1, our hope would be that pressure is removed. Not that you feel it, but we do talk about that quite often at meetings. So that would be our suggestion. I hope that makes sense, and certainly staff is looking for some advice on how you want the times filled in on the final ordinance, and it will be ready for the first reading.
Thank you, sir. I guess we're going to take some comments and questions before we entertain a motion. Are there any comments or questions from the rest of the commission? You notice he left my 9 o'clock start off on both dates, right?
You've been here by yourself.
I'll start. I'm really okay with option 2, which he presented at 1 o'clock on the first meeting of the month and 5 or 5:30 in the second. So I'll just start that conversation.
I mean, for me personally, I think, I don't know what the correct time is, but I think the 1 and the 5:30 could be more confusing to the public. And I think we're here to serve the public, so that would be my take on it. I just think, okay, well, we have one this week at 1 and or next time at 5:30, and they'll get confused, or I may get confused, hopefully not, but, that we would want as many people to hear it and know what's going on. I don't know if you could move it to 4:30, if that would back it up, and then put things that the public would want to be, if you did your business at the beginning, things like, or, things that you think that the public wouldn't want to interact in. That's just a suggestion for me.
Suggestions having both of them at 4 p.m.?
I said 4:30, but I mean,
4:30?
I'm just
Okay,
saying
I'm sorry.
4:30 or back
4:30?
it up a little bit. I don't
Okay.
know if that would be suitable for people. I'm just trying to say, for me personally, I think the 1 o'clock would be confusing, and if you try to say business on one and public interaction on the other, you all know, everybody knows, we have so much going on that business is gonna creep into one or the other because there's just so much happening in Danville. I think it'd be hard to say, oh, whoops, we can't add that because we gotta wait till that next meeting. It might be 2 more weeks. I don't know.
Folks I talked to mostly, I tried to reach out to a lot of people. Biggest response was 4 or 4:30, and it being consistent. The reason, of course, the kids are out of school by then, and as long as if there's a controversial topic, make sure it's a little bit later. But usually the open here, the public, it's
Right.
pretty late by the time we hit that. So even if it started at 4 or 4:30, the hear the public would probably be at 6. So that was the most feedback I got.
And so that's 4:30 for both dates also? Okay. Okay, so you're saying 4 o'clock? Okay. I wrote down 1 and 5:30. I wrote down 5:30 for both. I have 4:30 for both, and I guess I have 4 o'clock for both. So, and then I got 9 o'clock for both, my option, right? But
Or 1 o'clock for both, for Donna.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
A little earlier would be beneficial.
Here's some spectators back there. I don't know what it is, but
My thought, I was originally in favor of leaving it, but after discussing it with various and sundry folks, I think a 4 o'clock start would be a decent compromise. We could try it anyway. I mean, we can always amend the ordinance and do it, changes, but that gets staff home a little earlier and allows the public to get here potentially to give us a piece of their mind. So, I don't know.
y'all, nobody's talking about 9 o'clock except for the mayor. I don't understand that. I hear an echo back there, but y'all just. Okay, so I guess I ought to do this. Let's move this thing down the road. Let's have a first reading. Somebody make a motion. Let's have a first reading, and somebody put some times in it, and we'll vote it up or we'll vote it down. And if it
I'll
votes
make a
up-
motion to approve the meetings both meetings at 4:30.
All right, is there a second? Okay, that died for a lack of a second. So is there another motion? We haven't had that in a long time, have we? But that's okay, go on. Anybody
I'll
else?
make a motion that we move both meetings to a 4 o'clock start.
Okay,
Ms. Calhoun can come whenever she wants.
is that a second? Is there a second on the,
I'll do a second at 4 o'clock.
all right. So then probably moving second that we have both meetings start at 4 o'clock. Any comments, questions about that from the 5 of us?
No, if it doesn't work and we see that it's a problem, we can move it as needed, right?
Yeah.
We could change it
Yep.
if we had to.
Any other comments? Well, then I guess I'll call for the question then. And it's first reading, it has to be a roll call vote, with the times both being at 4 o'clock.
I think you got to vote on the motion first, and then we'll vote on the ordinance second.
Right.
Because you've made a motion tied to the time.
The motion is going to fill in the blanks to the ordinance, and then
Okay.
we'll have a roll call vote with the ordinance.
All right, so let's vote, okay. All those in favor of the 4 o'clock start time, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, aye.
It's 9:30.
I'm still at 9 o'clock. No, I'm not. So now, we need to have a motion on the ordinance.
Yeah, now, Madam Clerk, if you'll please read the ordinance in the record.
This is the first reading of ordinance number 2045, an ordinance amending Article 2, Section 2-21 of the City of Danville Code of Ordinances, revising the regular meeting schedule of the Board of Commissioners.
And the blanks in the ordinance in front of you will now all read 4:00 PM.
Thank you, ma'am.
I move to accept ordinance number 2046.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is it 2045 or
It's
2046?
2045.
Sorry, I stand corrected.
All right.
I'll second 2045.
Any other questions or comments? Now, Madam Clerk, we have to have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Peak,
Yes.
Mayor Atkins,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Saris,
Yes.
Commissioner Cottle.
Yes.
Thank you all. We'll try it, okay? So that, and that will be posted as our regular meeting schedule. All right.
And just so we know, we have to have a second reading of that ordinance, so it won't go into effect yet.
Yes,
Your
please.
next meeting will be at 5:30.
Yeah, we're gonna get them all confused. Oh, just joking. Come on. All right. Next item is time for our city manager's report.
Thank you, Commissioner, or Mayor and Commissioners. Didn't get the full sentence out. February 10th is the next commission meeting. February 14th, of course, don't forget, is Valentine's Day. We are working on the Black History Month event with Ephraim McDowell. Right now, that is steered towards February the 18th at 6 p.m. Looking at Danville High School, we should be able to get an agenda out this week with a notice, and so we're looking forward to that, and please note that in your calendars. February 24th is the second meeting in February, and the 26th, note on your calendar too, is the KLC City Day in Frankfurt. So those of you that want to attend we'll start to have and put a program together for that event in the next couple of weeks. Would like to add that the facility use agreements with the school districts, I want to comment that we're trying to align that with the parks agreement, and so we're working that out. So that's not a dead issue, but it does require some refining in order to do that. So we'll follow up on that item. The KBT conference was last week. I think it was well attended. It was a good conference in that it's really bridges relationships, and I think Commissioner Peak was there, Commissioner Cottle was there. We had a good time with the county, some of our county folks. Judge Bottom was there, Magistrate Ellis was there. And so we felt like it was a successful event with some of the things that we were able to see and observe and some of the folks we got to meet with. Like to point that out. And then the other thing is we will email you a budget calendar in the next few days. It is a draft. We will ask you to comment back to us on what that is, on dates that you don't like, and then we will clean that up. Just comment back to me if you have any questions or something about any of the issues that we point out on there, and then certainly we'll bring that back as time passes. But we do need to get your calendars aligned with that, and then we'll propose a final calendar for you. Do you have any questions in the short term? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to, a couple things. Last time, Terry Mahan for Habitat for Humanity asked about the Chestnut Street lot. Do we have any, are we going to be able to work with them on that, or?
That issue, after a little bit more substantial review, has proved problematic on various fronts. As such, it's my understanding, speaking with Josh, that Habitat has found another solution or building site for this calendar year, which has made that a less pressing issue for the city, which we were glad to hear.
Okay.
We are continuing to look for opportunities with those folks, so.
Other questions for the city manager?
One more. You have under here economic development notes. You want to say anything about any of this right now, or? just
No,
simply work it out?
we just want to footnote that and observe some of the things that we're working on with some of the landowners. Center Estates on the bypass is where the grade work's occurring near Asukas. The city has a sanitary sewer line that it's installing there with an agreement with the developer. that we're supporting there. Of course, the May development where Chick-fil-A is, we've worked on that for some time. That is, you can see the tower behind it. We work with them a lot. They're doing some recruitment of potential sitters on that property, and so we're trying to facilitate communication with them as they see fit. The EDA properties, of course, we participate with those. We're glad Terry was able to come and give an update. The acquisition of property is a significant thing, and the availability of property on the bypass now is pushing it from a question mark for a developer that seeks an opportunity to now we know they can be purchased. We know they can be purchased through the EDA, and so that's a significant step forward. And also, we would like to point out that as part of our master planning on that side of town, we are acknowledging, we had a good, healthy conversation at the last EDA meeting about the need to improve the transportation plan for the west side of town in the short term. Ultimately, we would like to replace the transportation chapter in the comp plan proposal. So Josh and I are talking about that. That is a significant aspect of economic development. But in the short term, we're going to have to do something more quickly on that east end, it looks like, partly because we want to market the property. We've talked with the state about their treatment of Pierreville Road from the bypass to Bluegrass. They did confirm verbally that they're not entertaining of driveway permits between Bluegrass and the bypass, that they will try to limit that access to the entrances that are existing now, which is Bluegrass Pike and the signal where Big Lots is. And so we footnote those just simply to point out some of the things that we're working on. And so you would ask that question if need be. And as those things come up, we just want to make sure we point out what we're working on for you.
Other
Or
questions?
what we're involved with, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Other questions for the city manager?
Are we using a consultant with planning and zoning for the transportation chapter?
Josh and I, and unfortunately, he's under the weather right now, and or I would lean on him to give an update. But we're talking about that. We have Palmer Engineering that we're working with the various grants and projects that we have ongoing. They did our Safe Streets for All master plan, and they're part of the implementation of that first phase. And so we're trying to figure out exactly how to coordinate that. That chapter in the comp plan needs updating. It's 30 years old, and you know, roads take that long to implement, and so you need to update it 20-year cycle, not like some of the other plans that you're looking at. So hopefully that makes sense. It's not.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Other questions for the city manager? All right, let's move along then. Next item on our agenda is that hear the public, the second opportunity. We have a list of sign-in participants, and the city clerk's going to call your name off, and you can come to the podium and again re-identify yourself, and then we'll give you 2.5 to 3 minutes to make a presentation, and we'll listen to you. So,
Margaret Calhoun.
oh, you gonna get Michael. No, Michael's gonna help you get up, please. No, I'm sure of that. No. Y'all letting her get over on y'all again.
I'm Margaret Calhoun. I'm here concerning the routes where the blue bus I started are going. I've been riding them here lately, and they go around, like they pick me up from Crescent, and they go around there about 3 times. And they could be going somewhere else, like the doctor's office. I was going to Dr. Landon on Porter Street, and they let me off a citation. I had to walk a block. And it should have been, the doctor should be the first priority to be stopping at the doctor's office. you have to call in for a reservation to go to the doctor's office.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
That's all.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That's not really a city commission item. Who operates those buses?
It is Bluegrass Community Action. They own and operate the buses, but we can get you their phone number for that.
Josh has had some discussion with those folks that he and I have discussed. And so we're trying to take a step forward with that service this year. We appreciate the establishment of it, and now we want to refine it to make it better, as she's suggesting. There are good points to some of the things she's saying. Also, access to the bus stops. We need benches, we need ADA access to those points. And some of those stops are just at locations where there's not connectivity with sidewalks and whatnot. So Josh is focused on some of those things coming up, and so we will hear her and try to forward that communication on.
Okay, next on your list?
Michael Mingy.
Hi there.
How you doing, sir?
First, I had someone that requested that the link on the city agenda have a QR code posted on Facebook, so that way people could just scan it and find it easier to watch a YouTube video live. First, I would like to say, in light of the recent events, I would like to give an update on change.org, which I'm not a part of. They now have over 3,000 petitions to terminate Officer TJ Gobby. Now, that news has broken out about the incident at Walmart. All charges have been dropped. If all the charges have been dropped, doesn't that prove that Officer TJ did in fact do something wrong? I'm asking the city to officially terminate TJ Gobby of all his roles immediately, along with most citizens here in this community have requested. We as the public can no longer trust Officer TJ anymore to work for Danville Police nor any other department. Why hasn't the city officially condemned these actions? Plus, it doesn't look good for 500,000 people to view a YouTuber discussing Officer TJ's actions. If I knew a city hasn't condemned a police officer for his behavior for beating on an elderly man who has dementia, I wouldn't come visit that town ever. While I do have respect for law enforcement and the Danville Police Department, the actions that Officer TJ did is unacceptable. The gentleman did not get home safely. He ended up in the hospital. So please fire him now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next person on the list?
Mary Spraggs.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. While earlier I heard a lot about how Danville cares about sustainability, and I know at least our mayor, and I'm sure our commissioners do as well, are aware of the proposed 950-acre solar panel array on the borders of Boyle County near Mercer County. Now, while I wholly acknowledge that this is something for the zone board, the magistrates, and the judge executive to work out with the public, the landowner, and the development company itself, I want to add that there's at least several hundred of us who are still in opposition to this, and we are beginning to go into the steps of public education. So we hope to be having some public meetings in the form of public lectures from scientists, environmentalists, people who actually work in the solar energy industry. Because as we've done some research, we have read Boyle County's solar ordinance, which was passed in June, July of last year. And we have also read Kentucky KRS 278706, and we have found it pretty lackluster in terms of environmental protection, protection of extremely vulnerable farmland. In this proposed development, more than 50% of it is actually regarded as USDA prime farmland. And from the Kentucky Resource Council and the Kentucky Solar Energy Society, they have had published for years a model solar ordinance that is extremely robust and does include how to protect farmland, public health, at the environment, because while it's really easy to think, wow, solar panels, this will help Kentucky form a diversified energy portfolio, because that is the way of the future. There is a time and place for these kind of installations. We are talking on the scale of almost 1,000 acres of more than 50% prime farmland. It is currently being used as farmland. It directly drains into Mox Creek, which goes into Lake Harrington, the drinking water source for Danville, Purville, Junction City, parts of Garrett County, if I'm not mistaken. So the drinking water for a lot of people, not just Danville, Boyle County, but other counties as well. This past weekend, I went to the Organic Association of Kentucky's meeting, which is, it's the farm conference for hippies. And so our original, there were barefoot people there. It was great.
Finish that sentence?
What did the bell mean?
That was your 3 minutes.
Okay.
Well, that's it. Thank you, ma'am. I was going to let her finish that statement, but she didn't hear me. That's okay. Were you just about finished, ma'am? I don't want to get accused of giving you more than 3 minutes.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, all
So
right.
our original concern was extreme sediment contamination, but we're now also concerned about the PFAS family of chemicals, which includes Teflon, which are in solar panels.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Victoria Cabral.
Victoria? She's gone. Someone else?
That was our last one.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And thank you all for signing in. We were anticipating a lot of folks who want to speak to us tonight on that. Commissioner comments is next on our agenda, so let's, you guys have, you ladies and gents have some comments?
The Mayor, I just wanted to thank you for making a statement about the incident, and I know I can't say much, but I just wanted to thank you for making a statement tonight, as well as Chief Cry, so.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Oh, and DCA over the weekend, the basketball teams, I listened, I didn't go to Owensboro, but the girls and boys both won the All-A Classic. So that was huge. That was really huge. So congratulations to the DCA Warriors.
Someone else? I still want to talk about snow removal, but we haven't had any lately, have we? Any other comments?
We can talk about that. I had a lot of compliments from people about how well our city took care of our streets. So thanks, Public Works. Did a great job.
Yes.
Yeah, I was staying in Lexington for a little bit during that time, and we were way ahead of Lexington. Of course, they have a lot more streets than we do, but still, the subdivisions were slick as glass.
Yeah. All right, let's go on then.
And the MLK event was wonderful.
Yeah.
So thank you to the committee that worked all year.
Thanks for those who showed up to March. Man, woof. Brisk. Any other comments?
And I was going to say at the celebration that the two young ladies from Danville High School that had poems,
Oh, wow.
I would like to bring them here and let
Wow.
them, they were really
Wow.
great poems. So.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? KLC, our own city manager, was did one of the workshops, was a presenter. I think we gave him a C+ grade or something on his performance, but did a good job.
On the curb.
On the curve, right? I want to say congratulations to City Manager Coffey for being selected to do that. That was pretty neat. Okay, let's move along. The payment of the bills. Chair would entertain a motion to pay the bills as presented, or as amended, or whatever your pleasure might be. Mr. Lewis.
Stephen, do I need to recuse myself? I have a reimbursement on there for for a conference last year.
I don't think you need to since it's a reimbursement, but
Okay.
if you feel better, you're free to.
No, I'm fine. I just didn't want to make sure.
I'll move that we approve the bill list in the amount of $272,485.58.
Second?
Is there a second?
Yes.
All right. Any questions or comments? I didn't want Mr. Lewis to leave without that paper, but appreciate you all. Then all those favor of approving the bill list as presented, say aye. Or say
Aye.
yes. I'm sorry. All those opposed, motion carries. Next item is Resolution 2025-01-2702, a funding request from the Bluegrass Art Center of the Bluegrass. Let me get that out.
So as you all are aware, we purchased the building at 415 West Main in 2023, which we then have officially leased to the Art Center for their expansion. In the lease agreement for the purchase of that building, they were responsible for the renovation and upfit of that building. We also, however, included that while they were responsible for the payment of the utilities, they could request back reimbursement of those utilities through our community agency funding process. There has been some changeover in executive management at the Art Center. Currently, the executive is Laura Elwin, who was appointed sometime in, I think it was the later half of 2024, and there was some, and she was unaware of that process to get the reimbursement, that they were to request that from the city, and the previous director did not request the reimbursement for the city, so she is asking if we would reimburse for the past 2 fiscal years, as is in our lease agreement with them. In the amount of $32,926.99. And then going forward, they would present this request during the normal budget process. So based on that being in the lease, we are recommending that the commission approve that reimbursement to them to carry them through the end of this fiscal year for that amount.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions or comments?
This was in our budget, right?
It will require a budget amendment. It was not budgeted.
So they didn't ask for it?
They did not ask for it at the time. The
Okay.
previous director did not come for that process.
Okay.
Once again, it is our obligation because it's in the lease, is that right?
It is in the lease, yes, and they have paid the utilities.
I'll move for approval of Resolution 2025-01-2702.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item is Resolution 2025-01-2703. Well, City Manager, you're doing this for Mr. Morgan tonight?
Yes, in that it's fairly straightforward. This application was sent in before. We did do a larger amount last time because we did include construction. This is for the design of improvements for the Second Street corridor. We feel like that corridor fits in with this RAISE grant program that was renamed today, I think, to the BUILD grant program. Nevertheless, the resolution authorizes the submittal of the grant application for $300,000, of which 20% is required to be a local match. In this case, it would be $60,000. The municipal aid road fund is an eligible reimbursement for that. There's also other potential opportunities with the state that we can pursue for additional grant dollars for that later on if received. And so we are submitting to you Resolution 2025-01-2703, which authorizes that grant submittal.
Thank you, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-01-2703.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions or comments?
Earl, do you think that you could kind of just hit the high spots for the record on what that Second Street enhancement entails?
Yes, and so the project limits are from Houstonville Road to the MLK intersection. The project would be a redesign in upgrading it with the pedestrian features aligned with the downtown master plan, for example, concepts in there. And so it's for the redesign of the roadway, including pedestrian access, wider aging sidewalks that are replacing those, for example. So it's doing essentially the streetscape project aligned with initiatives out of this specific grant, which is connectivity from MLK down to Houstonville Road.
Wow. That'd be major.
That's a good find.
Yeah.
You guys looking for that? Thank you.
Yeah. Pretty nice. Mhm.
Be a well-needed project as we look at the trail system and accessing our parks.
We have a motion and a second. So all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. I believe we have a need for an executive session. So staff, you direct us on, is it?
Personnel and litigation, Mayor.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there a motion to go into executive session, or you all want to make a motion not to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters pursuant to KRS 618101F. And I also make the motion to go into executive session to discuss City versus Doe litigation pursuant to KRS 618101C. I don't know if the City versus Doe was applicable, but I said it anyway.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second? Anybody second that?
Second.
I should say, Phil, due to the lack of a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Mr. City Manager?
Staff is requesting that you accept the resignation through retirement of Nathan Looney from the position of in fire with the city, 3 years of service with us.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Next.
That's it.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.